I'm Lucy. Welcome back to my channel. And today we'll be learning a very important topic for JAMB, which is 15 most likely JAMB UTME use of English questions. Yes, guys, those questions are likely questions that might just pop up when you take the examination in April 2026, guys. So we're going to look at all of those questions. Of course, we'll take the answers and the explanations to every single one of these questions. Don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, click on the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel so that whenever I have very important videos like this I'll drop on the channel, you can always get a notification. Or even when I go live, yes, I actually go live. I'll be going live this Friday, to discuss the recommended JAMB novel, which is The Lekki Headmaster by Kabir Gaber. So yes, there's a lot happening, around my channel and all of that. So in order to, be a part of this community and what we do, and of course to benefit and learn, about different stuff about English. Okay, you have to click on the subscribe channel so that you always have access to everything that I'll be teaching you. So are you excited? Yes, guys. So we're going to start with the very first question that I have here. And this question is, everyone of the players dash rewarded. We have was, and then B, we have where. Okay, so the question here reads, every one of the players dash rewarded. We have the options. Option A was, option B were. Now, I can assure you that most times in UTME use of English questions, we usually have questions that begin with everyone. And everyone is an indefinite pronoun. So this type question on the board is actually a concord type question. Now, in case you do not know, concord means subject-verb agreement. And in simple terms, what the subject-verb agreement means is, if in a sentence you have one name, say for instance Sarah, okay, there are certain verbs that Sarah must use in a sentence. Okay, Sarah can be, Sarah is a girl. Is a verb. We cannot say Sarah are a girl. Okay, so the subject, Sarah, the verb is, they have to agree in English. That's what we mean by concord. Okay, all right then, so the concord rule for indefinite pronouns, such as everyone says, they are regarded as a singular entity. That is one. Okay, so because they are regarded as a singular entity, pronouns like everyone should then use singular pronouns, singular verbs. Pronouns like everyone should then use singular verbs. Okay, so what we do here is we look for which of these options is a singular verb. I mean, that's very simple. Okay, if you're preparing for JAMB, I'm sure this is quite a simple one for you to do. All you have to know is to have the rule, the concord rule, at the back of your head. Okay, so we look for the verb that is singular, and the answer here is was. Now, every one of the players was rewarded. So everyone collocates with was, okay? Indefinite pronouns collocates with the singular verb in the sentence. I hope you got that one. Please take note of that. Everyone type questions most times pop up in JAMB UTME use of English questions. Okay, so we're still looking at 50 most likely questions to pop up, guys. We have loads, and I got loads and loads of them for you because I just want to help you pass UTME English, use of English JAMB this year. I want you in the university by September or October this year. So let's take a look at this question. Here it says, neither the teacher nor the students dash ready. We have our options. A, again, was, and B, were. Just by way of information, I have a very detailed lesson on my social media handles at Lucy Knows English, where I actually took my time to explain the Concord rule for either or neither or. So you need to go follow me on Instagram, TikTok at Lucy Knows English, on Twitter X at Lucy English _ You'll see loads of things, to learn for UTME, for JAMB, and for, everyday English. I give English tips, and then I teach English vocabulary. Guys, you need to hook on to my social media. Okay, back to our 50 most likely JAMB UTME use of English questions. Here we have, neither the teacher nor the students dash ready. Okay? And the option A was, option B were. Now, for neither nor and either or type questions, either or, okay, we actually apply concord of proximity. And I'll explain what concord of proximity means. This is proximity here. What we do with this particular type question is we have to understand that it appears that there are two subjects in this type of question. So here we see the teacher, 1, and the students, 2. Two subjects. So the confusion most times, for most people or for most students is that they begin to wonder which of these should determine the verb in the sentence. That's why I wrote proximity here. Now, proximity means nearness or closeness to, okay? So, the subject that is closer to the position of the verb. We do not have a verb in this sentence at this point, we understand that, okay? So, the subject that is closer to the position of the verb is the one that determines the verb in the sentence for neither nor or either or type questions. So that's a very simple one for you to do, isn't it? Okay? So which of these subjects is closer to the position of the verb? Is it the teacher or the student? Of course, it is the student. So the students here, what kind of subject is the students? Because of the S marker that we have, that's the plural marker, it tells us that students is a plural subject. Isn't this easy peasy? Yes. Just know your rules, okay? So the next thing to do is you go to the options and then you check for, which of the verbs in the sentence is the plural verb. Why? Because plural subjects must take plural verbs, okay? They work together, they collocate together, okay? So the plural verb here is were. Now let's read together. Okay, neither the teacher nor the students were ready. Remember the rule that we applied here, the Concord rule of proximity. Proximity, where the subject that is closer to the positioning of the verb is the one that determines the verb in the sentence. I hope you're learning. Don't forget to share this link to your friends and every other person you know who'll be taking UTME this 2026. Okay, so let's check out the next question. change my markers. Okay, so here we can see this question. It says, the committee dash agreed on the proposal. A, we have, and then B, we have, has. Now, this is a very simple one to answer. First, you need to determine what type of noun is the subject committee. Remember that the subject here is the noun committee, okay? So it is very important to determine the type of noun that committee is. And committee is a collective noun. Notice my pronunciation of collective. I didn't say collective. That's not how to pronounce this word, okay? It is pronounced collective. Pronounce after me. Collective. Collective. Because there's a short sound right after, the sound, collective. Okay, I hope you got that. All right, guys. So committee here is a collective noun. Now, in English grammar, the way collective nouns are regarded, they are seen as singular. Okay, so because the collective noun here stands as a singular subject. Singular subject. I want to ask you the question: what verb will it take? And I'm sure you're saying it will take a singular verb, okay? Because in English, under the Concord rules, singular subjects collocate with singular verbs, plural subjects collocate with plural verbs, guys, okay? So the answer here would then be the committee has agreed on the proposal. Why is it has? It's very simple. The committee is the collective noun, and the collective noun is treated as a singular subject. Therefore, singular subject has to collocate with singular verb. That's the explanation. Very simple and straight to the point. I hope you're learning. Let's look at number 4 question. I guess you like this one because most times I observe that most speakers often make this mistake. So I'm glad we'll actually be learning it, both as a question and for everyday usage. Okay, so let's look at this. She prefers coffee, tea. Before I answer this, you can answer so we see if you get this right. Okay. Alright guys, without further ado, let's take our answer. Most times people would say she prefers coffee than tea. People do actually, but that's wrong. The correct usage in English, or the correct collocation, I think I should spell the word collocation. Collocation is a noun, okay, and the verb is collocate. Collocate means to agree. To agree. To agree. Collocate means to agree. Okay. Alright, so what we use in English grammar, we say she prefers coffee to tea. Okay? So if you've been saying than this today, understand that that's not a proper expression in English. Okay, so she prefers this to that. Okay? This, so it could be coffee, it could be tea, it could be maybe bananas to cucumbers or something. So what prefers this to, to that. Okay, so the answer here is to. She prefers coffee to tea. I hope you got this. Our next question. We're still looking at likely JAMB questions, guys. I hope we're learning. Don't forget to share this link and don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay, we have and there are options. I feel like I'm hearing someone say this is quite simple. Do you think so? Okay, let me show you why this is not quite simple. Why do people still say, my names are? People say, oh, what's your name? My names are. The people who say my names are the people who do not get this right. So I don't think it's quite simple because this confuses them. The S added to, the S here. So they think it's a plural. This is actually singular. Okay? The news is the correct answer, is shocking. Okay? The news, so regardless, it's just like when you have this name. This is someone's name, and it's pronounced James, not James. Hello, 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 hello. James, not James. Correct yourself. James, not James. Fine. Now, when you have this name, does it mean this is plural? Does it mean James? No. This is just a name. That is the spelling. So this is not plural. News is what? Singular. Information, especially that is transmitted by, mass media, okay, or print media and all of that. So those are just spellings. They are quite different from boy, boys. This is plural. These ones are the natural spellings of the word, okay? All right. So let's declutter our board so it's not too busy for easy understanding. Okay, so news here, like we've seen, is singular. The news is shocking. Whatever it is you heard, the news is shocking. One last thing on this question before I go over to the next question. Let's look at the word is, the phonetic transcription for the word is. But most people wrongly pronounce this word as is. It is mine. It is for me. Is it for you? That's wrong. The correct pronunciation for this word is ease. Is. Z, not s. I hope you're learning something on my channel. Okay, so you can share the link, of this particular video with everyone around you. Of course, we all speak English, so share with every single person around you so that they can also gain from the class. Let's take a look at the next question, and that's question 6. It's another Concord question. Of course, you know that there is the lexis and structure part of JAMB UTME. So we have one of the boys Okay, so here it is. One of the boys dash missing. Options are and is. Okay, this is a Concord question, like I said. Now, when you see sentences that have one of the maybe boys, one of the books, one of the cars, when you see such type questions that begin with one of, okay, this is what I'm actually talking about. One of, okay, this one of, even though we know that the collective, is plural, okay? Boys, we understand that, okay? One of the boys, one of the books. This is plural, we quite understand. But because of the one of that precedes the boys or the collective. Now that we have that, the plural. Now that we have that, let me use that. The plural. Now that we have that. this one-off combination is regarded as singular. Therefore, it has to collocate or take the singular verb is. The singular verb is. So this will then read, one of the boys is missing. One of the boys is missing. One of is missing, not this. This one is not proximity this time. Like, proximity we did for neither nor, either or, if you were following, okay? This is one of is regarded as a singular subject, so it has to take a singular verb. Okay. Let's move to the next question. The police investigating the case. And here we have our options. We have is, remember is, not is. And next we have are, okay? The police investigating the case is and are. Okay, so to answer this question very quickly, the police here is regarded as a plural subject. Why is that? Why isn't it a singular subject? It's really quite simple. Had it been you said something like the policeman or policewoman, as the case might be, then these would then be singular subjects. Why? Because you're singling them out. But here you're talking about a collective, the police, okay? Are investigating, the answer here is are investigating the case. Now the difference is, police is a plural subject. Policeman or policewoman are singular subjects respectively. So that's the difference in that particular one. So please, if you see something like the police are, okay, or maybe the police were, if it's in the past tense, so you use were for words like the police, because they are actually plural subjects. Okay, then, next we have let's look at this particular question. I think question 8. Sometimes students struggle with this. This actually falls under the topic appropriate prepositions. So here we have in and at. Okay, quick 2 seconds. What is the answer before I tell you the answer? You can just answer in the comment section what you think the answer is at this time. She is good English. A in, B at. Okay, today you have to learn, or today you know that the appropriate preposition to use here is actually at. She is good at English, okay? She is good at mathematics, okay? Not in, at. That's what she does, okay? That's what she does. Most times when you use in means within a thing, even in the word within. You have in there, if you look at it closely. I also wanted to say in means inside a thing. Inside. In. But when you say at something, she is good at maybe sewing, maybe baking, cookery, something of that nature. So good at, take note of that. That's an appropriate preposition in the English language. Okay, let's look at another question as we count down to a 50. Most likely JAMB UTME, use of English questions you might likely see in the examination come April 2026. The next one here is, he insisted dash paying the bill. A. He insisted dash paying the bill. A, on, before. Is this quite simple? What's the answer? The answer here is he insisted on paying the bill. He insisted on paying the bill. Not for, not by, not to, okay? He insisted on paying the bill. Again, this is an example of appropriate prepositions. In English, you say insisted on. Let's remove paying the bill. Let's look at something else. So we're learning, broader than being restricted to one question. We could say something like, she insisted on doing the right thing. So insisted on, appropriate prepositions that go together in the English language. That's the point to that. Okay, I have seen this particular question in UTME. I've also seen it in SSCE. I think it's a question that pops up most times. Let's take a look at this question. And students actually struggle with it. So, they congratulated her. They congratulated her dash her success. Okay, and here we have the options. Just a second. Okay, quick one. Can you tell me what the answer is? You can just type it out in the comment section right there. They congratulated her dash her success. Is the answer on or is it for? Okay? Sometimes students say they congratulated her for her success. They say, okay, she succeeded, okay, and she's done something great, maybe achieved something. Alright, so congratulate her for her success. That's not an appropriate preposition. So you congratulate her on her success, okay? You congratulate him on his achievement. Appropriate prepositions once again in English language, okay? So we congratulate them on and not for. If you've been struggling with that, I noticed students quite struggle with this, and I'm so happy it's one of the questions that we have. Just take notes of the question. This falls under the topic appropriate prepositions. Okay, so you need to learn some appropriate prepositions in English. That would really help you to know what goes together, to know what collocates. For example, we say, okay, this is an idiom, but I can use it so you understand what I'm talking about. We usually say, pay attention. I am teaching a lesson. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. They agree. They usually go together in English. That's what I'm trying to explain for the topic appropriate prepositions. There are some prepositions that need to go with certain words in certain sentences, like we saw for insisted on. Okay, insisted on paying the bill, insisted on doing the right thing. So you can see that insist there and on go together. Okay, so the same thing here, congratulate her on, not congratulate him or her for. Okay, and if you got that, let's proceed. Don't forget what we're learning. 50 most likely JAMB UTME use of English questions is what we are learning in today's lesson. Okay, next we have the teacher divided the sweets dash the children. If the answer pops to you, you can just fill it in, okay? It shows you thinking between, and then we have among. What's the answer? Is this a simple one for you to do? The teacher divided the sweets dash the children between and among. The answer here is among. The answer here is among. Most times we use between for 2 persons. And then among for more than 2. Okay, so here it says to children. Maybe they're 50, maybe they're 5. Okay, they're more than 2 anyway, so we'll be using among for them. That's the answer. Yeah. Let's take a look at this question. Okay, so here we have, he is married, dash 2 children. He is married, dash 2 children. A with, B and has. Most times, especially in Nigeria, people actually say he or she, is married with 2 children. People most times say, but that's wrong English. So today we're going to unlearn all of that and then we'll relearn the right thing. So the right thing here is, he is married and has 2 children, not with 2 children. Because it was when he got married, in the course of the marriage, maybe in the first year, the wife, put to bed, maybe in the 3rd year, put to bed the second one, or maybe even in the 1st or 2nd year, give birth to a set of twins, okay? So it didn't come with the marriage. So why are you saying he is married with? Had it been the children, maybe the wife of the person he married, okay, had like 2 children of her own. So then you could say he is married with 2 children, but not that he's married and then the children came afterwards. No, so that would then be he is married and has 2 children. He has 2 children. So we need to unlearn this, okay? Very important. And let's speak the right thing. It is not with at all. It is he is married and has 2 children. Or if you want to add the pronoun, he is married and he has 2 children. But the most important thing is it's not with, it is actually has 2 children. Okay, I hope you're learning new things. Okay, so let's take a look at the next question in this series. Okay, let's look at this one. It's another comfort question. Okay, so here we have this particular question. This type question actually pops up in JAMB. Trust me, you might even see this question in JAMB this year. Trust me on this. Okay, so it's a question that has as well as in it the principal as well as the teacher's dash present. And we have the options. A were, B were. So what's the answer? Now you need to understand this guiding principle. The principle here says when you have two subjects, okay, that are joined together by with, that are joined together by as well as, together with, alongside, okay, such as we have here. It is the first subject that remains the dominant subject in that sentence, and it controls the verb. Let me explain this and bring this home so you quite understand. So here we have again two subjects. We have the principal is one, and then we have the teachers two. So there is always this debacle of, okay, which of them determines the verb? Yes, there actually is. So when you see words or sentences rather that in them that have as well as, alongside, together with, as well as, together with, even with. Okay, so when you see sentences that have this in them, the first subject remains the dominant subject, and this subject determines what the verb is. So this is really quite simple. Here the first subject is the principal. And what kind of subject is the principal? Is it singular or plural? It is a singular subject. I mean, this is easy peasy, guys. So because it's a singular subject, what does the rule of Concord in English grammar says? It says singular subjects collocate or agree with the singular verbs, okay? So we're going to go over to the options, and then what we have to do is to look for the singular subject. Voila! We have our answers, guys. Okay, so the principal was. Now let's read together. The principal, as well as the teachers, was present. Don't be deceived by teachers because it's plural. No, that's not the rule in English. That's not the Concord rule in English. The Concord rule in English says when you use as well as, alongside, together with, okay, the first subject is the principal one. So teachers here is redundant. The dominant thing is principal. That's why the principal was, not the principal were. I hope you're learning, guys. If you still haven't done that up till this time, what are you waiting for? Click on the subscribe button. You don't want to miss any of my videos, any of my live, okay? This is where everything for English tips and English vocabulary happens at Lucy Knows English. So let's take the next question. Okay, I did something similar to this. Let me see if you can get this particular question. Okay. Okay, so we did something similar to this when we did neither nor. So all you have to do is to apply the verb. It says either the student or the teacher dash responsible. So what is the answer? I want you to type out the answers in the comments. I wish I could see the comments right now, so I know if you actually get this particular question. Guys, remember we're answering likely JAMB JAMB UTME use of English questions, okay guys? Okay, so yeah, we still apply the rule of proximity. Do you still remember? Do you still remember that? And proximity refers to nearness or closeness. Okay guys, good. So which of the, okay, we have two subjects, and what are they here? We have students, we have the teacher, and this is the second one. Which is closer to the position of the verb? Teacher is the closer one, okay? And teacher is a singular subject. So it's very simple to do. Come on, look at how English is simplified. You don't have to struggle ever again with English grammar. You don't have to struggle with your tenses. You don't have to struggle with concord, guys. Apply the rules that I teach you. So yeah, teacher is a singular subject, and all we have to do is go to the options, look out for the singular verb that we have there, and is our answer. So we read together. Either the student or the teacher is responsible. Correct answer, very straight to the point. Let's look at the next question. Okay, so this is similar to what we did earlier. I'm bringing similar questions for recall because I want you to remember. Don't forget, okay? The more you do, the better you get at it. Remember what we say. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. So let's take a look at this particular question. Mathematics dash my favorite subject. Well, it's not my favorite subject. My favorite subject is English. Okay, so here we have is and we have are. So this particular question is similar to when I talked about the natural spelling of a word. Okay, we looked at this word news, and I explained using James. James is a name. This is the natural spelling. It doesn't mean James, the way we have boy, boys, okay? It's not singular and plural. It's the natural spelling of the word, okay? The same thing applies to mathematics. This is the natural spelling of the word. The natural spelling of this word. So this S here does not indicate plural, okay? So which means mathematics is just singular. It's a singular subject. It's a singular subject, guys, okay? And then it takes a singular verb. So mathematics is, not are, because someone is saying S. And in English, it is said that when you see S at the end of the word, it's the plural marker. No, that doesn't even apply here at all, okay? This is how mathematics is spelled. So mathematics is my favorite subject. Just a bonus for you, because when you come to my class, you have to learn. You just have to learn, guys. Okay. So let's look at this. Let's learn new stuff, guys. Okay. So we have math and we have math. What's the difference? Or didn't you know they were different? Some people didn't know. Just use anyone. Okay, guys. British, English, American, or what we call North American English. Did you learn anything? Are you learning? Are you like learning? Is your English improving, guys? Is your English improving? Are you learning, guys? There is so much to learn in my class. You just have to be here. You just have to be here to know. Tell your friends, tell everyone to subscribe to my channel, and of course, watch the videos and join my live. I'll be going live this Friday, and I'd love for every single one of you to be there. We'll be looking at the JAMB recommended novel extensively, okay, which is The Lucky Headmaster by Kabir Gaba. It's exciting, and I'll explain it so very well. So make sure you're there. Make sure you're in the line. Okay. We have another question. I think I'm on 17. Yeah, I think so. Gave me. Okay. Okay, so here we have, he gave me dash advice, and the options are A and B some. Type out your answers in the comments. Let's get thinking. Fastest answers, you know how we do, okay? Type out your answers, and what's the answer? He gave me an advice, right? That's your answer. Well, that's wrong. The correct answer here is, he gave me some advice, okay? Now, for advice. It is an uncountable noun. Uncountable noun, which means that we use participles with them, okay? So what you say is, you cannot just say an advice. You say a piece of advice. However, in this case, we are not using participle. We can actually say some, because some works with uncountable nouns like advice, okay? He gave me some water. I'm pretty sure you know that water is also an example of an uncountable noun. We have water, okay? So he gave me some water. He gave me some advice, uncountable nouns, okay? But if I wanted to use a participle for water, I could say, he gave me a glass of water. A glass of water, maybe a bottle of water. Okay, have you seen that now? So it can't be, he gave me a water. Understand it? Same as it cannot be, he gave me an advice. No, you cannot say a water. Okay, therefore you cannot say an advice. They are both uncountable nouns. Rules apply in English grammar. Understand the rules and you understand English. Easy peasy. Easy peasy, guys. You know, in my class, we don't do guesswork. I don't do guesswork. That's my motto. I coined it. No more guesswork. No more guesswork, guys, okay? You will understand English. Why? Because I am teaching the science behind the English language. So yes, if you say that this is an uncountable, advice is an uncountable noun, water is also an example, then the rules apply. So you can say, he gave me some advice. He gave me some water, fine. However, because they are uncountable nouns, they take participles normally, okay? So then we say a piece of advice. He gave me a piece of advice, or she gave me a glass of water. Have you seen how those rules apply? English is very easy, guys. I'm sure you're having a good time in the class. So let's move on to the next question. We're moving on. We are moving on and we're learning, so we'll take the next question. Okay. Let's look at this particular one. Well, it seems simple, but I do hope you can explain why it is. It says, the teacher asked the teacher asked Dash to submit their work, okay? The teacher asked Dash to submit the work. We have the options us and we, okay? So I'm pretty sure you tell me the answer is the teacher asked us to submit the work, okay? I'm pretty sure you say that. Now the question is why? Why is the correct answer? The teacher asked us to submit the work. Now this is it. We here is not the answer. It is because we is the subjective case of the pronoun. Subjective case of the pronoun, Okay, now because we is the subjective case of the pronoun, it should be performing an action, and the action is the verb. But rather, what we see here is the teacher is the subject in this particular context. So the teacher is performing an action that is being received by some people. We're trying to know who those people are. Okay? So the subject in this particular context, like I said, is the teacher, not we. So which means that we have to use the objective case of the pronoun. And the objective case of we is us. This is the objective case. Objective case of the pronoun. So how are we sure about this? The teacher asked us. Who's receiving the action? Us. The teacher asked us to submit the work. So when you receive the action in English grammar, what are you? You're the object. Isn't it very simple? You're not the subject, so the answer is not we. You're the subject when you're the doer, when you're the performer of the action. But if the action is being performed on you, or perhaps towards you, then you become the object. That's the explanation. Remember, no guesswork, no guesswork. We look at the science behind the English language so that we know exactly what we are talking about, and then we better our English. Okay, so let's take the next question. Let's look at this particular one. Okay. It says here, he behaved as though he dashed the owner. Okay. So we have options was and were. Quick guys, drop your answers in the comments. Drop your answers in what's the answer to this particular one? He behaved as though he dashed the owner. Is the answer was the owner, or is it where the owner? Drop your answers in the comments, guys. Let's do some learning together. Okay, so let's look at this with the explanation, of course. He behaved as though he was the owner. No. But that's what most people would pick. That's what most people would actually say. But that's not the correct one. The correct answer is, he behaved as though he were the owner. He were the owner. Now, why is were the owner the correct answer? It's because of what we call in English the subjunctive mood. The subjunctive mood. Most times in English, the subjunctive mood is not necessarily, does not necessarily follow the rules. That's why it's called, please learn about the subjunctive mood, okay? Most times it deviates from the norm, it deviates from the rules of English grammar, okay? So why is that? Now, the subjunctive mood is a mood that, where we have wishes. This indicates, okay, let me see, indicates wishes, prayers. Okay, so this is just a wish. He behaved as though he were the owner. Is he the owner? No, he's not. So this particular sentence indicates a wish. It indicates a wish. So what do we use when we indicate wishes in English? We use the subjunctive mood. It does not necessarily have to conform to the rules of Concord, because ordinarily someone would be asking behind this camera, someone would be asking, why aren't you saying he was the owner? Weren't you the one who said singular subject collocates with singular verbs? And the answer is the subjunctive mood. Now look at this particular example. Why don't we say God blesses you. Pay attention. Why don't we say God blesses you? But what we usually say is God bless you. God bless you. Let me just write this out. This is what we say in the church, in the mosques, and all of that, okay? God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you. The pastor is telling you, the imam is telling you, may God bless you. God bless you. Why don't we say God blesses you? Because blesses is actually the singular verb. So it looks like we are using the plural verb for a singular. Hello? No. This is wrong. If you're using it in this particular context, what is still right is God bless you, or may God bless you, that your pastors already use, your imams use, even you use, maybe your parents use for you. That is already correct. But there is a real question. Why are you saying it's correct, Miss Lucy? What are you even saying it's correct? Because as we can already see here, bless is a plural verb. So why are we using the plural for the singular? The simple reason we are doing this is because of what we call in English the subjunctive mood. So the subjunctive mood covers this particular explanation. It makes God bless you not to conform to the Concord rule of singular subject collocates with singular verb. It does not conform to that rule, and yet it is correct English. So the subjunctive mood covers wishes, prayers, all of those things are correct. Well, if they do not conform to the rules. So in English, you have to understand, English is called the living language for a reason. It is not a dead language. Latin is an example of a dead language because it's no longer evolving. Okay, it remains the same, it's static. But English is a living language. Now think of it like a living organism. So there are changes. It is not straitjacketed. So even though we have rules in English, there are some exceptions to the rules, and you just learned one of them, which is the subjunctive mood. I hope you understand that. Now, if you haven't clicked on the subscribe button, do that, and of course, share the link to this video with all of your friends. Everyone has to learn how to speak good English. I'm sure you like the way I speak, okay? So everyone has to learn how to speak good English, and we have to understand the science behind the English language. So you have to be in my live, you have to be in my classes, and you have to watch all of my videos, guys, so that you can, speak better, write better, communicate better, and of course, be respected in society. Okay, so we just learned about the subjective mood. Let's take another 50 most likely JAMB UTME use of English questions. That's what we've been looking at today. So let's take another question. Another question. Okay. Okay, let's look at this question. Okay, here is question 20. We dash the problem. We dash the problem. A, is it discussed about the problem? Or B, discussed the problem? Most people say this. Most people actually say discussed about. So today we're going to unlearn that because it's wrong. Now, in discuss, it means to talk about. So this is a case of tautology. Tautology in English means unnecessary repetition. So when you have expressions that, indicate tautology, we call them tautological expressions. So if you say something and someone says, that's tautology or tautological, it simply means that, you're doing an unnecessary repetition, okay? So if the word discuss already has talk about in it, it means you're saying, we discussed the problem. Or we talked about the problem. Can you see where the tautology is coming from? Can you see what's happening over there, guys? So yeah, if you've been saying discussed about, no, about is redundant. About is, you don't need it. That's what redundant simply means, okay? All you need to say is discuss or discuss. Now this is a correct expression. We discussed the problem. We discussed the problem, not discussed about. Let me give you another example of, the tautologies that we have. We have she returned back to school, for instance. She returned back to school. This is tautology. Can you point out the tautology in this? Can you point out the tautology? I'll give you a few minutes to point it out in the comments. What is the tautology in this? Okay, this is quite simple. The tautology is back. Because when you say return, it means go back. It actually means go back. So she go back to school. No, that's a tautological expression. Back here is redundant. Back here is redundant, guys. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay, most people use this. Have you ever heard people say, I'm going to withdraw money from the ATM machine? No, you shouldn't be saying this, guys, okay? I hope we're learning, guys. I hope we all learn a lot of things and we're learning them, okay? So in this word, ATM, it actually means automated teller machine. So if you're saying ATM machine, you're saying automated teller machine. Automated teller machine, and that's actually our tautology. We have so many of them. Guys, look at this one too. Quite a popular one. People will say, can I have your PIN number? By the way, this is wrong. So you're not getting confused. This is wrong, okay? Alright. So people would say PIN number. This is personal identification number. So this is wrong. All you have to say over here is ATM. I'm going to the ATM to withdraw some cash. Or this is my PIN. Very simple, okay? Don't forget return, not return back. Discussed, not discussed about, okay? That's under a question on the tautology. Alright guys, I hope you have learned so much in this class today. We'll be continuing. This is the first part of this series. It's a continuous series, okay? So we'll be continuing with this. We've looked at the first 20. We'll continue with the 50 most likely JAMB UTME use of English questions. Probably we'll take it to 100. We'll take it to 100, okay? That's very important, in the preparations for your UTME. For your UTME, it will actually help you. Or everything that we've actually done are likely questions that just might pop out in the your UTME in April. So you can as well share, this video with your friends, your classmates who are JAMB candidates and will be taking the examination. Okay, like I already said, right here on my YouTube channel on Friday at let's see here now. Friday 20th of March, okay? Friday 20th of March, that's this week Friday, at 3 p.m. I'll be having a live on the recommended JAMB novel. I'll have a YouTube live, yes, on the recommended JAMB novel, The Lucky Headmaster by Kabir Gaber. Trust me, it will be so explanatory. You'll understand that novel. Yeah, I hear students, say quite a bit about the novel, but I tell them, don't worry. All you need is just the proper guidance. So we'll look at every aspect of it, and it promises to be a very enjoyable class where you'll learn so much like we have just learned in this class and in my previous videos. I can't wait to have you on in the class. Please tell your friends, classmates, and every single person to join that live on Friday. I'll be going live 3 p.m. guys, and I'd love to have every single one of you there. Okay, thank you for being in this class this afternoon. Until I see you next time, I say